Have you looked at yourself lately and quietly thought, I don't even know who I am anymore? Not in a dramatic way, not because everything in your life is falling apart, but because somewhere along the way you started feeling out of touch with yourself. And if you've been feeling that way lately, this video is for you. One of the hardest parts about spending a long time in survival mode is that eventually you become so focused on getting through each day that you stop noticing how much you've changed in the process. You don't just wake up one day and suddenly lose yourself. That's not how it works. This usually happens gradually, especially if you stopped expressing yourself fully and speaking up, or if you stopped paying attention to your own needs while trying to keep the relationship stable and avoid conflict. In the process, your own inner world slowly moved into the background. And after doing that for long enough, you can reach a point where you're no longer sure of what you actually want and need, or even what feels like you anymore. Because survival mode has a way of pulling your attention away from yourself and keeping it focused everywhere else. The sad truth is that this often shows up in ways that feel surprisingly ordinary. You may notice yourself second-guessing simple decisions, or find yourself asking other people for reassurance before trusting your own instincts. You may even realize you don't know what you enjoy anymore. Or maybe life feels calmer now than it once did, but something is still missing. And that's often what makes this experience so confusing. Because from the outside, things may look okay, but internally you feel distant from yourself. You may feel like you've spent so much time adapting that you've lost touch with the person underneath it all. And if you've felt this, it's important to understand that you're not broken, and it doesn't mean that you failed. Sometimes this happens because your nervous system spent so much time trying to protect you that self-expression became less important than self-protection. You learned how to stay aware and be prepared for anything. You learned how to stay safe. But in the process, parts of yourself slowly got pushed aside. Not because they weren't important, but because survival felt more urgent. And eventually, when life becomes a little quieter, you're left reconnecting with parts of yourself that haven't had much room to exist for a very long time. The good news is that healing isn't always becoming someone completely new. Sometimes healing is remembering who you've been underneath all of the survival patterns and holding on to the parts that make you, you. You begin learning how to listen to yourself again, trust yourself, express yourself more fully, and reconnect with parts of yourself that have been waiting patiently for your attention, little by little, choice by choice, moment by moment. So if you've been feeling out of touch with yourself lately, that doesn't necessarily mean you're lost. Sometimes it simply means you've spent too long surviving. And now your healing journey is becoming less about protection and more about reconnection. If this video resonated with you today, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, or share this message with another woman who may need to hear this today. Thank you for being here on Irina's Avenue, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.